Hello there, welcome to another look at Asian genre films. Today I'm looking at Female Prisoner Scorpion series starring Meiko Kaji. That'll be the last person whose name I'll try and pronounce in this series because I'm terrible with Japanese names or Asian names. So, but the series is Female Prisoner Scorpion, Jailhouse 41, Beast, Beast, Beast Stable and Grudge Song. So those are the four films, and they're available on DVD, Blu-rays and things like that. You can easily find them. Okay, this was a series from the early 70s and it was based on a manga, and is basically about a female prisoner who barely says a word, is very spare, very much about survival, and it's about her adventures within jail and out of jail. And basically, they're very arty exploitation films. I mean, they're meant to be exploitation films, and there's lots of moments of nudity and rape scenes and stuff. The exploitation is there, but there's also a weirdly feminist theme of this character and how she survives the brutality, because there's not one good male character in the film. They're all scumbags eventually. There's also a lot of good supporting female characters, and most of the antagonists or the friends tend to be female, so there's a lot of characters that are female. So it's a weird combination of complete exploitation and a feminist ideology, so it's really weird, but they're very entertaining, they're very spare, especially the first two. So I'll start with Female Prisoner Scorpion. It's basically a revenge tale. Basically, the lead character, she's dating a cop who uses her to take down some drug dealers. Little does she know, he really is just using her to get in and bribe the dealer that he's basically trying to get in and be a dirty cop. So he just used her and let her get raped, and so she attacks him and ends up getting thrown in jail. In jail, she refuses to submit to authority, is basically abused, and they turn people against her to try and kill her, but she'll basically take anyone down. And it becomes a series of episodes of the prison trying to break her and her refusing to be broken, and eventually the friendship she makes, the enemy she makes, and there's basically these episodes within the prison as she slowly works her way to escaping. And after the escape, she goes down and she takes out the guy who did her in. So I mean, it's a series of revenge tales, but it's always like she's always so determined. She knows who she's going for the whole time, and it's like step after step how to get there. She may get beaten down at times, and times it might be feeling a bit hopeless, but it's always this feeling of she's going to go after this thing, she's after this thing. So there's always a determination in her eyes that she's going to get there eventually, and she'll always work her way around the various people trying to take her down. So the first movie is just pure revenge flick, a lot of arty moments in it, great imagery, great use of colour. It's like they're taking the idea of, okay, this exploitation movie, let's just go for it and let's have some fun with it. So the first episode, the first story is just like exactly how you'd want to do a revenge film, because the revenge doesn't come till very late, and by the whole story is about building up this character who can take on anybody, but will not take them on in very obvious ways. She's always got a plan. So you see how the prisoners use the prison guards use those prisoners who suck up to them to get advantages. They use them against her in the first place. She destroys them. They try and destroy her physically. They end up causing a riot. They try and turn the prisoners against her. She ends up turning, because of the friendships she makes over time with some of the prisoners, that doesn't work. So eventually she keeps moving on, and she actually gets by with determination and actually having some kindness for other people, which is a funny little thing in a revenge movie, because normally they'll use the focus on revenge, but she actually, because there is some humanity there. She actually can make bonds with people. So that's the first movie. The first movie is terrific. Even better is the second movie, Jailhouse 41, which is basically after the first movie where she kills a cop. She gets caught again. So in the second movie, she's in jail. But during it, and then they're trying to destroy her, they rape her and everything. They're just trying to totally destroy her will to survive. They will make the other prisoners dig, so they will punish her as well. They're really just going for her because she caused the prison chief's eye to get gouged out in the first movie, which is a funny sequence. During that time, she takes advantage of the whole thing and ends up causing an escape where she and some other prisoners just get away. And so through the rest of the story, they're trying to find ways to... They're escaping, so they're trying to find, okay, what do you do now you've escaped? In the case of one of the prisoners is completely mad, so she's always looking for vengeance against everybody because she can't face her own madness. So she's always a danger in the team. There's other ones who want to go back to their old lives, their old lovers, their family, which the authorities are trying to catch them, use against them. Other prisoners are just unlucky. One of them gets raped and murdered, which causes this female prisoner, Scorpion, to get revenge on the scum that did that. So the whole thing is a look at the society around them. As they escape, they see society around them, like who compromises, who takes advantage of weakness to get their own way, who's callous, and who's brave. There's not much bravery here, but it's like who has some elements of decency. Some people who don't deserve to die get killed. You have a whole thing of what they all did, and it's shown that some of the crimes were understandable, even though you wouldn't do it yourself. Other ones, I was like, this person's crazy. So even within the group, there are a lot of tension, and there's a chance of disaster always just because of human nature. So the whole thing's about human nature, even though it's a stylized movie. I mean, there's tons of fantastical sequences in this film. As you go in ahead, as you see what she thinks. So, I mean, the whole film is still very stylized, but again, it's about how Scorpion manipulates people even within the situations to stay out of jail because she does not want to go back to jail, and how she just fools people into making mistakes and just eggs them on from their own weaknesses to just take that step they shouldn't take. So essentially, the whole movie is about her getting away from the police. But it's wonderful because it's like, it's not just, oh, I've escaped, finally. It's like, I've escaped now, there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem. This person's a psychopath, I deal with them. And it becomes this constant issue of how the hell do you escape from these psychos? Because all she wants to do is be left alone. She doesn't even want anything beyond being left alone. And she just won't, so she ends up escaping the end of that movie. The third one, she's actually trying to live a life, but a cop tries to find her and she cuts off his arm and ends up running through the streets because they get caught with a handcuff on her in a railway station. She's off the train, he's stuck on the train as the door's closed, and she just cuts his arm off and it's running through the streets with this arm flying about. She ends up meeting up with someone who is having an incestuous affair with her brother who's brain damaged, and this one's a prostitute. So try to help them out, but we'll also try to live her own life. And it becomes a thing of how do you survive in the real world, but it's not the real world, but it's a fantastical world with all these problems. So there's gangsters who try and rule over the prostitutes that cause her problems. There's the cops chasing that cause her problems. There's all these issues, and it all becomes like, how do you survive? And how she survives. And basically, what happens is, all her friendships are ultimately destroyed. The person who's trying to help is forced to turn on her, even though she doesn't want to. the problem with the brother who's brain damaged doesn't get resolved. So by the end of the movie, she's still in an incestuous affair with him. That woman. Scorpion ends up escaping the police after having to survive in the sewers for days. And then she ends up going back to prison under an assumed identity to take out the last two people who are after her. Even though the police don't think she's dead. So there's lots of little things in there that sounds weird when you explain them, but in the film they make sense. In a kind of fantastical world ways. I mean, these films have one foot in reality problems, one foot in like opera. Really, they're very operatic films. So there's bits of both, bits of reality, of these are problems of real people, but there's also the massively theatrical elements as well. So everything that is a problem in Japan at the time becomes something much bigger in these films. But they're very interesting because they're showing some of the tensions in the society. So they're wonderful exploitation films. And by the end of it, she's still taking down people who've done her wrong. Which means she will not stop. If someone does her wrong, she will destroy them. But they have to... but again, she uses their weaknesses and their assumptions against them. But she's always determined she's going to wipe out any possibility of people getting to her. So finally we get to the fourth movie, Bridge Song. This is a different director. A director did the first three and they were brilliant. This is the fourth one. This is not as good. I've said it straight, it's not as good as the first three. It's made by a good director, Hisabi, who did Retaliation, Massacre Gun, and he's a pretty good director. But he was brought into a series that had already been established with somebody else. He tries to mimic the style, but he's not that kind of director. He's not the director as the original director. So he's kind of having to mimic the style, but he's a much more realistic director, so there's not as much fantastical elements, except for the end when she takes down her enemy. But it feels like you're going through the motions again. It feels like you've seen this story before. There's each other movie had a step forward. Like the first one was a prison revenge movie. Second one, the escape movie, the complications of escape. Third movie, how do you survive society? They'd kind of done everything. Each one was a new way, was something a bit new for the series. This one, it was like they find out where she is. She has to try and escape the police. She ends up getting caught. She ends up back in prison. She has to escape and get revenge on the people who wronged her. It's exactly the same stuff you've seen before. It's like there's nothing new. And it comes across like everyone involved knows there's nothing new there. And the action's still good. The setups are still good. It takes the idea of like the female prison guards. Before this was always male. The female prison guards and how they cause problems for her. But it's still the same thing. You've seen it all before, and it's like a series. It's that kind of one where you think, okay, this series is now pretty much dead. You can still go and do things, but it feels like everything's been done already. And that's why this is the last film, because the lead actress, she stopped after that. So I'm assuming she thought the same, like they'd done everything they could do with it. It's still a well-made film. It's still enjoyable to watch. There's still things like she falls in love with a guy who's a left-wing protester who's mutilated, and she ends up having to betray her, and she ends up getting revenge on him. It should be interesting, but it's just kind of it's not really. There's not enough details to make it really punch its weight. It just feels like it's far less interesting than the last three films. It just feels like it's like churning out the events that you expect in the movie. So even the scenes that are good, like the revenge on that boyfriend, or the revenge on the guy, the cops try to kill her in this one, they are very... You've seen them before at this point, and it's kind of been done. But the fact that the last one wasn't as good as the first three, and there's been other films without that actress, that character, but who cares? But since it fell away, the series fell away after the first three, basically, it's still a terrific series. The first three are brilliant. They're such good exploitation films with other things going in them. They're sort of art house exploitation films. They're wonderful. They're just beautifully done. But the fourth one is where you see it going to go wrong, but it's still a great series to watch. If you like exploitation films, these are great. If you like arty films with a kind of genre base, these are great. And even if you like arty films and don't mind a genre base, these are still really worth watching for some of the moments they have in them. It's just be aware that there's still some rough elements to them because they are exploitation films. They're a terrific series. I would highly recommend them. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back soon with some more talk on Asian genre films because it's a kind of movie I really enjoy watching. I think there's so much talent there that because you have to read subtitles, a lot of people don't read, but there's such wonderful directors and actors in these films that I'm happy to do some more of these kind of videos.